You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
Oh my goodness, the Detroit Tigers lose 2 of 3 to the terrible Baltimore Orioles. They lose 5-3 in a game where Daniel Norris left the game with groin tightness and Miguel Cabrera left with left bicep spasm. The Tigers were not expected to win today's game because their pitching was not nearly good enough, to say the least. Their offense was trash. Yeah. Daniel Norris took the loss 0-2. Gausman improves to 2-2 with a win. Kevin Gausman. Darren O'Day with a save, pitching a 1-2-3 ninth inning. Much better closer than Shane Green, most certainly. So, the Tigers are going to move ahead back home to the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow at 7:10. In a 3-game series from April 30th to May 2nd, Monday through Wednesday. And they go to Kansas City and play an afternoon game to start a 4-game series at Kauffman Stadium with the Royals at 2:15, Friday at 8:15, Saturday at 4:15, Sunday at 2:15. The Royals are one of the worst teams in the American League. 6-20. Yes, 6-20. The Tigers lost 2-3 to a team in the Baltimore Orioles that are 8-20 now. My God. Cincinnati is 6-21. Only the Royals are a half game ahead of them. The Royals are only a half game ahead of them. Tigers trying to make another comeback, but of course they would fall short. Their terribleness and ineptitude is starting to ooze out of them sooner than expected. Because they're starting to lose games to terrible teams like the Royals and the Orioles. They're starting to lose more games to mediocre teams in the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are now in first place in the NL Central, the NL Comedy Central, that is, 17-11. It's a 4-way battle between the Pirates, Cubs, Cardinals, and Brewers. Cubs are 15-10, Cardinals 15-12. Brewers are 16-13. Those are mediocre records right there.
It looks to me like a mediocre division, too.
Yep.
For now.
except for the Reds, the worst team in the majors.
Yeah, I was hearing something say that I think they said 6 teams are looking at, I think, at 100-loss season, and 6 are looking at, and I think 8 or 10 are looking at another at least of 90 or more of a losing season.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So
the tanking process.
Yep. The tanking process is just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
Can hardly wait for it. I'll enjoy my summer with it personally. So, that being said, it is now already time for the National Sports Report with Louis Tenore. Take it away.
Time flies. Alrighty, everybody, here we go. To start with, on the page here, the Yankees will play the Angels tonight at 8 o'clock. Sabathia and Skaggs are your starting pitchers. And the Yankees have taken 2 in the series already. Other games are in progress as follows. Just sitting here, get my arrow in position. All right. On the bottom of the ninth, the Braves are having a field day with the Phillies, 10-1. Vito is pitching, and Capno is at bat. In the bottom of the eighth, now going to the top of the ninth, the Reds are leading the Twins 8-1. They had first and second, runners on. Hernia is batting, and Rosario is pitching, and Rosario is at bat. As we head down to the bottom of the ninth, the Athletics are... No, the Astros are ahead of the Athletics now, 8-4. Springer, Altuve, and Correa are at bat. In the bottom of the seventh, we got something interesting here. White Sox and Royals tied at 4, bases loaded, 2 out. Oh boy. Alvania is pitching, and Gordon is at bat. I keep my eye on this one, folks, if I were you. As we head into the bottom of the ninth, well, this game is now over because the Cubs beat the Brewers 2-0 as the top of the ninth just ended, so that is irrelevant. Zubrist got the win. Well, actually, it was going to be Zubrist, Russell, and Hayward, but that we can now rule that out. In the top of the third, the Mets are leading the Padres 2-0. Runner on first and 1 out. Mitchell is pitching, and Bruce is at bat. I don't mean Springsteen either. Ooh. Sorry about that. As we mentioned before, the Orioles over the Tigers 5-3. Gossman got the win, Norris got the loss, and O'Day got the save. O'Day. Oh boy. Red Sox, they beat the Rays 4-3. Kimbrough got the winning, Colomb got the loss. Just my rotten luck. The Blue Jays over the Rangers 7-3. Happ got the win, and Perez got the loss. Mariners over the Indians, because they scalped the Indians today, 10-4. Gonzalez got the win, and Toplin got the loss. That's with Tomlin. The Marlins, they won a game, actually. They beat the Rockies 3-0. Smith got the win. Bettis got the loss, and Ziegler got the save. The Nationals over the D-backs, 3-1. Whoops, excuse me. Nationals, like I said, they are over the D-backs 3-1. Okay, there we go. And it's... Yeah. Smith got the win. Oh, sorry. Oh, there is no stats of who got the win, look up, lost, and that. Okay, thanks a lot, fellas. Pirates over the Cardinals, 5-0. Nightham got the win, and Weaver got the loss. Nightham was actually pitching a no-hitter into the 6th inning, and it gave up on a double. And just getting underway, the Dodgers are facing the Giants. Medea and Black are your starting pitchers. Okay, so that takes care of that. So now we'll go to the standings, and they read like this. And as we now are in week 5, midweek week 5. Time is flying by, folks. And they read it like this. In the American League East, the Red Sox are still in front, now at 20-7. Yuck. 2.5 ahead of the Yankees. Yankees are 2.5 back at 17-9. The Blue Jays are 5 back at 15-12. The Rays are 12-14, now 7.5 back. The Baltimore Orioles 8-20 at 12.5 back. Eek. What happened to the Birds? They were looking like promising this year, and they have just blown the coop.
And the Tigers lost 2 or 3 to them today.
Go figure that out.
Yeah.
Why strain yourself? Okay. In the Comedy Central, as we call it here, the Indians are 14-12, have a 3-game lead over the Tigers at 11-15, and the Twins at 9-13, 3 back. White Sox are at 8-17 at 5.5 back, and the Royals are 8 back at 6-20, and they are looking worse every day. The West is the Houston Astros are 19-10, 2 ahead of the Angels at 16-11. They're tied actually with the Seattle Mariners at 16-11. The Athletics are even at 14-14 at 4.5 back, and the Texas Rangers are 8 back at 11-14. Okay. Nationally, the Mets are 16-9, hold a half-game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies at 16-10. Braves are 15-11 at game and a half back. Nationals are 5.5 back at 12-16. Boy, what's happened to Bryce Harper this season. And the Marlins are 8 back at 9-18. In the Central Division, we have the dead heat here, pretty much. Pirates are 17-11. A half game back are the Cubs at 15-10. At 15-12 is the Cardinals. That's a game and a half back. Also a game and a half back at 16-13 are the Brewers, and the Reds are 10.5 back at 6-21. In the West, the Cardinals are 19-8, 5 ahead of the Rockies at 15-14. The Giants are 6 back at 13-14. Dodgers are 12-14 at 6.5 back, and the Padres are 10-18 at 9.5 back. All right, so now let's check the schedule for tomorrow's games. All right, schedule here. Okay, so for April 30th, April 30th already. Wow. Okay, so we read it like this. Okay, starting at the top of the page. The Rangers will face the Indians at 6:10. Your 7 o'clock games are as follows. The Rockies take on the Cubs at 7:05. The Pirates take on the Nationals. What's in here? At 7:10, we have quite a few games here as the Rays take on the Tigers. The Brewers take on the Reds. The Royals take on the Red Sox. The Phillies take on the Marlins. 8:10, the Blue Jays take on the Twins. The Yankees go to Houston to face the Astros. 9:40, the Dodgers will face the D-backs. I just want to see if I'm missing something here. Hold on a second. And at 10:15, the Padres will take on the Giants. All right, so now we'll go to the NBA. Just a second here. Okay. Of course, we have also one game in progress right now, and it's no contest, as the Rockets are beating up on the Jazz 72-52, 6:18 to go in the third quarter. Joe Ingles has 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. James Harden has 23 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. And I think this game is going to be a sweep. Continuing on, the Cavaliers do hold off the Pacers 105-101. Victor Oladipo had 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and some guy named LeBron had 45 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. And he also set a new record for most steals in the playoffs. Today was number 396 in the third quarter, and he surpasses the legendary Scottie Pippen. The only thing is, though, that it took a little bit longer for LeBron to reach that mark. I'll explain the news notes coming up. So, just hold on tight with that, folks. We have a couple of games coming up tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll read it like so. We have the Sixers versus the Celtics in Game 1 of the Eastern semifinal. That's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I believe that game is on TNT. They're not telling me right now. Good for nothing. And that's the only game on. All right, so now let's go to the ice. And boy, that game last night was a doozy. I'll explain a little bit later right now. As right now, we're going into the third period between the Penguins and the Capitals. Capitals lead 3-1 at the end of 2, just starting, I think, to go into the third. And coming up at 7 o'clock, the Jets will take on the Predators. And tomorrow's games will go as follows. Just a second here. All right. It'll be the Bruins versus the Lightning. That is a 7 o'clock start. And I believe we have one more. Yes, we do. We have the Golden Knights versus the Sharks, and that game was a doozy. Sharks actually ended up winning that game last night 4-3 by Courier after a goal by the Golden Knights was called back late in the first overtime due to goalie interference. And from what I saw in the replay, it did look like that it did interfere with the goal, so that happened there. And right call. But as I said before, this is going to be a 7-game series anyway, so, it is going exactly how I thought it would. Okay, so right now, a few MLS scores. Yes, I handle MLS too, folks. That's soccer for those of you who don't know. In the MLS league, the Colorado Rapids are leading Orlando City Soccer Club 1-0 in the 43rd minute. Coming up at 6:30, NYFC versus Dallas, and at 9, Los Angeles Football Club takes on Seattle Sounders. And Red Bulls beat the LA Galaxy yesterday 3-2. Oh, lucky me. I was a Red Bulls fan even before they became the Red Bulls. They used to be called the Metro Stars. So, interesting story now. Pittsburgh Penguins' Yves Malkin, their forward, is not playing in Game 2 against the Capitals. This is according to Coach Mike Sullivan. He announced it today. Sullivan said, Malkin, who has a lower body injury, good news is did not suffer any more setbacks, so no damage done, and saying it's just a part of the process. And Sullivan said that he may be available for Game 3. Malkin missed Game 6 of the Penguins' opening round against the Flyers and Game 1 against the Capitals with that same injury, and yet they still won that game anyway. Malkin led the Penguins in goals and points during the regular season. He had 3 goals, 2 assists against the Flyers before suffering the injury in Game 5, where he got tangled up with the Flyers' Yuri Lidera. Winger Carl Hagelin also remains out for the Penguins with an upper body injury. But the Penguins did rally against the Capitals. Was 1-0 and rallied for a 3-2 victory in Game 1. We'll believe for you. Let's see how well you do without him this time, folks. You would think that'd be the advantage, and plus, the Caps are playing at home, so you would think there'd be a double advantage in that. Not so. Okay. So as I was mentioning, that LeBron broke the record, and the interesting thing is that Pippen had 395 steals in 208 playoff games. LeBron broke the record in his 228th playoff game. So it took him just a little bit longer. As I said, the Sharks even the series with a 4-3 double overtime win last night. Wow, what a game.
What an upset.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess you can call it upset. All right, Falcons general manager Thomas Dimitroff said the team is not overly concerned about wide receiver Julio Jones missing off-season workouts or erasing photos from the Falcons team's Instagram page. Dimitroff said, "I'm not concerned one bit about anything on social media. I think we are in a great spot." And he had very good discussions with the head coach Dan Quinn. And in a great spot. The deleted photos caused a stir, but the team insisted that it was related to Jones wanting a fresh start on social media, while also providing a point on social media to players and his former school, Alabama, about wanting to let go of the social media process. Yeah, it can either help you or hurt you. I'll put it to you that way. Okay, news about Carmelo Anthony. If Carmelo Anthony does decide to return to the Thunder next season, he said it would be not just as a bench role player. Anthony, who was owed $28 million on the last year of his contract, but can opt out with an early termination clause. The early expectation from nearly everyone around the league is that Anthony would opt out in the final year, remain with the Thunder. He also maintains his no trade clause. But when declining to talk about the details about financials, Anthony says he's also going to weigh his basketball happiness in whatever he decides to do. Okay. Continuing on. In a series that has featured a war of words, Celtics guard Terry Rozier and Bucks guard Eric Bledsoe shared an embrace following the Celtics Game 7 victory last night and downplayed any animosity lingering from the first-round matchup. You have two guys that want to win, two chippy guys, two short point guards, set by Rozier, who scored 26 points on 10 for shooting. That included 5 3-pointers, and for him that's a career playoff high. After game 1 of the series, Rozier referred to Bledsoe as Drew, as in the Patriots quarterback. Bledsoe responded by suggested by the media sessions with reporters that he did not know Rozier's name. Both players had a brief dust-up in Game 5 as Bledsoe was called for a flagrant foul for shoving Rozier in the chest. And Rozier got a technical for retaliating. But all is well now, and they seem like to be the best of buds. Well, at least for now. And I kind of thought that it was going to be, just a walk-off win for the Celtics, and I was right. All right, the Warriors routed the Pelicans by 21 points last night, but the road team's pace took a lot out of the defending champions. The Pelicans were racing up the court that makes on the makes and the misses. Thompson, who is considered by many to be one of the best well-conditioned player in the league, joked with Draymond Green about the fatigue factor when it comes to playing the Pelicans. Last night's phase was played at 105.96 possessions per the 48 minutes. That's according to the NBA stats. That's rather interesting. That's I don't think I could put better myself. All right, so I got some more news here, of course, and it goes like this. Concerning Las Vegas, Westgate Superbook favors Patriots to lead the NFL in wins next season. Oh, what a shock. The Patriots have won 12 or more games in 8 consecutive regular seasons. The Vegas odds makers aren't sure that they'll reach that point again this season. The Patriots' season win total opened at 11 today at the Westgate Superbook, the highest in the league, but down more than it went from last season's number. Getting a little underconfident, aren't we? I like that. Last spring, New England was coming off a Super Bowl title that opened with the highest win total, 12.5 since the least of the 2001 season, according to Oz Archives Sports.history.com. No other team was higher than 10.5. This year, the gap between the Patriots and the rest of the league have narrowed significantly. Tom Brady is going to be 41. Jimmy Garoppolo is gone. And Ed Solomons, the Westgate's head football odds makers, there just isn't as much margin of error for the Patriots at this point. The defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles and Pittsburgh Steelers each opened at 10.5, by the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings at number 10. No other team was open with a double-digit win total. Okay, interesting. The Westgate posted win totals on every team today. Bettors can take over or under on the set number of varying odds. The Browns, who went 0-16 last season, and the Cardinals each opened at 5-5, the lowest of any teams at the Westgate. You're gonna give them 5-5. Wow. The 49ers, Rams, saw the biggest one-year jump in their win totals. The 49ers, who were projected by the Westgate to win 5 games last season, picked up Garoppolo from the Patriots, closed the year with 5 straight wins to finish 6-10. San Francisco's win total for the season opened at 9. The Rams opened at 9.5 for the season, after being projected just 6 games last year. This is very interesting. The Westgate has seen significant support of the 49ers and Rams from the betting public the last 3 months. In fact, more bets have been placed and more money has been wagered on the Rams to win the Super Bowl than any other team. Solomons has said the 49ers have the 3rd most bets to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, I'll believe that when I see it, buddy. Gotta be joking. Yeah, Garoppolo may have given them, a little bit of encouragement, but I don't see them, really getting anywhere past that.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I know, but you're not basing on any significant theories, just your own ridiculous opinion. Please. All right. So, I'll just see if we have any NFL news. I think we should. All right. Oh yeah, one item I think we didn't touch on something with the Lions ex-president last night. Matt Millen battling former Detroit Lions team president Matt Millen is suffering from a rare disease that might force him to seek a heart transplant. Oof. Millen, who is 60, suffers from amyloidosis. He told the Morning Call of Allentown, Pennsylvania, the disease occurs when amyloid builds up in bone marrow and then ends up in tissues or organs. As the disease progresses, the protein can alter the healthy tissue it is near, causing organ failure. Ooh. Bone marrow, it's pretty serious. In Millen, the disease is attacking his heart, according to the newspaper, and symptoms generally aren't obvious at first. According to the morning call, Millen's heart is working at about 30% of captivity and is believed to eventually in need of a heart transplant to help in treatment. Millen has been having chemotherapy once a week for the past 8 months. Chemotherapy is believed to have halted the normal cell growth. Boy. Continuing on here. Millen, who is a former ESPN employee who still is an analyst for the Big Ten Network, first began having symptoms of the disease 7 years ago when he had chest pains during exercise. He went for tests over the next 6 years without diagnosis before the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, and diagnosed with the disease last summer. It's rather painful. I know what you have, and you're not going to like it. Millen said the doctors told him, according to the morning call, Millen continued to work games for last season for the Big Ten Network. Millen was drafted in the second round of Penn State in 1980 and played for 12 seasons as a linebacker in the NFL for the Raiders, 49ers, and Redskins. He made the Pro Bowl once and was All-Pro twice and won 4 Super Bowls. After his NFL career, Millen became a color commentator on NFL games before being hired by the Lions in 2001 as the team president as well as general manager. He held that role for 7+ seasons before being fired in early 2008 when they had that atrocious 0-16 season. I remember that very well. Millen, according to the morning call, appears to be taking his diagnosis with a level of positivity, still mowing his lawn, woodworking in his Pennsylvania home. So it doesn't look to be all that bad, but still it is rather sad news to hear. And we certainly wish him with better things to come. That's pretty scary news there. Okay, we'll just take care of some baseball before I hand it over to you. All right. No. And in the baseball world, this is why I hate when they do this to me.
This is the Postgame Edition.
Okay, there we go. With the news about the D-backs. And D-backs starter Robbie Ray leaves the D-backs game with a strained oblique. Reads down here. He left today's game, losing 3-1 in the second inning because of a right strained oblique, the team announced. After throwing a pitch to Washington's Matt Waiters, Ray called the Diamondbacks trainer from the dugout and began monitoring toward his right side. He exited the game after a brief conversation with the trainer and was replaced by fellow left-hander T.J. McFarland. Continuing on down here, Ray is 2-0 with an ERA of 4.88 in 6 starts this season, with 45 strikeouts in just 27 and a half innings. He struck out 2 and allowed 1 hit on Sunday before leaving the game. Any long-term injury to Ray would further weaken the rotation of the first-place D-backs, who will already be without Keyshawn Walker with an elbow for the remainder of this season. Yeah, what a way to you're doing so well, and then you come up with this oblique. But obliques aren't really that serious, so we'll see what happens. Okay, one other thing I think I should mention that Yasiel Puig is on the DL list with a hip pointer and a bruised foot. The 10-day disabled list plays today. He was hurt in the field at the plate last night, and it was just announced today. Puig was initially injured during the first game of the doubleheader yesterday when he ran hard into a padded wall near right field, making a one-handed catch in foul territory to end the first inning. Happens every time, folks. Happens every time. Continuing on, Puig stayed down for several moments and was attended to by team trainers before walking off the field. He came out to bat in the second inning, fouled the ball of his right foot, then flied out. Afterward, manager Dave Roberts said Puig's foot was more of a concern, while the Dodgers slugger didn't seem too concerned. He sat in a chair with his left leg propped up, a small blue wrap around his foot, and joked with reporters. So obviously, even though he's in pain, he's in good spirits. Right-hander Brock Stewart was called up to take Puig's place on the roster spot. So it shouldn't be too bad, but you never know. Although the team is been struggling a bit this year. Interesting story here, and it concerns of local interest to me, sort of. Francisco Rodriguez, a.k.a. K-Rod, will continue his baseball career with an independent team known as the Long Island Ducks. I am familiar with them, being I'm from New Jersey. They have played against our minor league teams years ago, so I have some familiar territory with them. We have agreed to terms with Francisco Rodriguez, Ducks president and general manager Michael Eloff told Newsday, very well-respected paper in Long Island. The goal is to get him here as soon as possible. We anticipate his arrival next week. As soon as he arrives, we'll issue an official press release and he signs his contract. Newsday is very well respectable. Rodriguez, who is now 36, was released by the Philadelphia Phillies last month after posting a 5.4 ERA in 8 spring training appearances. In 28 games with the Tigers last season, Rodriguez was 2 for 5 with a 7.82 ERA, 7 saves and 6 blown saves. Yowza.
That sucks.
You can say that again. The right-hander, as we all know as K-Rod, is a 3-time league leader in saves in 2005, 2006, and 2008, and is 4th all-time in the category with 437 in 16 major league seasons. Well, we always are touched now and then. I mean, he is 36, he's past his prime as far as baseball's concerned, but still, I think that's relatively, still moderate. So, that's about it. So, now I'll just check a few of the scores going on from games in progress.
That's F-Rod, rather. Oh, otherwise known as, yeah.
I get it, yes. I like that. K-Rock. We also have another thing of a station called K-Rock. It's a station out here in the New York, New Jersey area. K-Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not to be confused, of course, with A-Rod.
Yep.
But that's another story for another day.
Yep.
All right, so checking the games in progress. Right now, go like this. Okay. Right now, in the top of the ninth, the Royals still lead the White Sox 5-4 with a runner on first and 2 out. Boyer is pitching and Davidson is at bat. It looks like that Royals will hold off, but you just never know. Bottom of the fourth, the Mets have taken the 4-2 lead down for the Padres. Wheeler is pitching and Hosmer is at bat. There is a runner on first and 2 out. In the middle of the second inning, the Giants have a 3-zip lead over the Dodgers. Slater, Hernandez, and Blatch are due up. And all the rest are a final. So now we'll do the NBA, as this game I think is still becoming a bigger laugher than it needs to be. Because without one of your top players, I don't see how the Jazz are going to pull this out. And right now the Rockets are leading 94-79, 6:56 to go in the fourth. Donovan Mitchell, 21 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds, who should be Rookie of the Year. And James Harden has now 36 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. If he's not Rookie of the Year, I'm going to raise a ruckus.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, of course, the NHL, as we are in the game two of the Pens and Capitals. It is still 3-1 in the Capitals' favor with 9:59 to go and change. But I'm going to update that just for a second because sometimes it gets a little bit delayed. So just bear with me on that one. And okay, is 3-1 Capitals with 9:48 to go in the third period. And as I mentioned, Jets face the Predators at 7 o'clock. All right, at 5:41 p.m. on this afternoon, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, that's going to be it for the post game. Before we sign off, I want to remind everyone to share this episode and the entire podcast on social media and have their friends share that as well, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth is in search of a wider audience that is fans of sports. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast, its Facebook page, the Michigan Sports Truth, and its Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. For Louis Tenore, I'm Taylor Phillips. We'll talk to you tomorrow night at 11. Stay tuned for the Week in Review edition later tonight at 10:30. TTFN, ta-ta for now. And follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. And congratulations, Tigers, for losing 2-3 to the terrible Orioles.
And have a good evening, everybody.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
And mission complete.